Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Emet Open Mic Open Heart. Today I'm here with
Uri.
Chef Uri Elbaum, right? Fireside Muncie. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me your age, where were you born, how you got to this place here, and, share a little bit of your story. I feel like you have a very interesting one. And we actually met on Instagram.
That's correct. Years ago. Yes. Years ago.
When you had 2,000 followers.
Wow.
And now you're at 40, 50,000. I don't know.
Something like that.
So yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Uri. As you know,
yeah.
I'm 29. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm one of those Spanish Jews. I get you get the best and the worst of both worlds.
Right, and I hear the accent, which is lovely.
Yes. This is the best I can do at English. This is me trying. I've been here for 10 years, always pursuing a dream and trying to cook and do, do the best I can and share with the world as much as possible. And here we are, living it up, trying to enjoy life and do the best we can.
Nice. So at what age did you come here?
I came here when I was 18.
Okay, yeah, so pretty
going for 11 years.
Yeah. Right, no, so it's pretty recent. It's not like you came here when you were
Excuse me, I'm 29. 10 years of my life.
No, I'm making you seem young. You should be happy. I'm doing you a favor. I'm complimenting you. Take my
Thank you so much. I'm so young. I'm 18,
Yeah, but no, you definitely look young also. Not that 29 isn't young. Obviously, it is young. So you came here without your family, I'm assuming,
That's
right?
correct. Yes. Okay. So I came here. All right. So one day I was like, I'm done here. I felt like I didn't have any purpose in life. I always knew I wanted to cook. I was already working at restaurants and all that. But at some point in my life, I was like, there's something wrong with me, right?
Really?
Yeah. I was like, there's something wrong with me. I'm very hard on myself, and I'm very I criticize myself a lot. And I just wanted to do something great in life. And I'm like, this is not it. I'm doing something wrong. And if I'm not making the best out of life, then I just don't want to, I don't want to be here.
Interesting.
So I spoke to a very smart person, I guess.
Okay.
He told me once that if you plant tomato seeds in the desert, they're not going to grow. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the seeds are faulty or there's something wrong with them. You just cannot expect to grow tomatoes in the desert because tomatoes do not grow in the desert.
Nice. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Nice. So he meant the place you were at, or the whole, not just the country, the whole environment and everything.
I'm not even so sure. A lot of times people say things, they'll throw it out there because that's just what they know or what they believe on.
Right.
But I don't think he was necessarily telling me, hey, pack up your stuff, go to another country, go to America.
Yeah.
That was just on my part, on staying positive and understanding what the world was trying to tell me,
right,
and how to act on it. So I was 18. I didn't have any money. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to America because I heard that if you want to be a chef, you want to be successful, where do you go? You go to America.
But have you been cooking when you were younger? Always, you knew that was something that you were passionate about?
Absolutely. Yes. I grew up religious in Argentina. I was my hat and my beard and my capota and my all that.
We have to get into that story.
Oh my God. We should.
How did it get from there to, I guess, the religious place? Well, how about you tell me, where is your religious level now? How would you say? You don't have to define it because I don't like buying it. But what do you do? What do you not do?
Okay. I am the most proud Jew in the world ever. I'm extremely happy and proud of who I am. I feel gifted in a sense. I just love my people. I love my community. I love all of that, right? I know exactly what going to the mikvah every day and learning from the morning to the night feels like, and I know what other stuff feel like.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of know the best and the worst of both worlds, and I kind of found my gray area. It took me a while. I used to think that if you do something that's not fully accepted by the Torah, then it cancels other things.
Right. But sometimes we grow up with this very black and white mentality, and some people just need the gray. It's hard for them to.
And guess what? My gray is probably a lot more darker than most people. But it's okay because at the end of the day, not a lot of people share openly this next part, but I think that God knows exactly where my heart is and what my intentions are. And that's just what I do. I do, I do stuff for the world. I try to help as many people as possible. I try to be a good person, to be a good Jew. I put on tefillin every day. most days, don't tell nobody. Sometimes I forget. Put on tefillin every day. I work at a beautiful kosher restaurant, which is an extremely important part for me, right? Because people get to, say a bracha right before they eat and a bracha right after. So that's like just freaking awesome.
Right.
You know what
and
I
you're
mean?
around that every day.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You're around
Every
Jews,
single
you're
day.
around this community.
Every day. And it's
like,
great.
Right.
It's awesome, and I love it. And that's just what I do,
So what would you say was like the hardest part for you growing up? Like, I guess, like, religiously, and the things that you had to practice? Or maybe you think it's like, I don't know, like your parents or something, like maybe you were feeling pressured, or was it not even any of that?
I believe that a lot of the things that I was doing, I was trying to follow as many mitzvahs as possible, trying to go, one after the other. I think that at some point it became so systematic. I was too focused on the rules themselves, and I was forgetting of the, where the actual goal is.
Right. Right.
So I think that maybe, that the whole routine of just putting on, I was putting on 2 tefillin a day. I was putting Rashi and Rabbi Pam every day, like all these crazy things that it felt awesome, at some point, but then it just became very systematic. And now, instead of davening a whole, half a book every morning, I say Shema Israel every day and for 3 minutes a day. And guess what? That helps me disconnect. And I probably feel that feeling more now for 30 seconds than before.
Right.
So definitely.
So what do you think we could do, like, as a society? Because I feel like a lot of people feel that way. They feel like it's not like they don't believe in Hashem. It's not like they don't believe in the commandments or the mitzvot, but they just feel like, I wake up in the morning, I do the same thing over and over again. It's like a routine, it's a system. What could we do maybe to the younger generation? So like the teens, to kind of try to change that, or to try to make it like more like where your heart's in it, as opposed to just like a system of a set of rules. Because when people think about the Torah, they're like, oh, it's a set of rules. And we don't want people to view it that way.
Of course, I think that passion and purpose are 2 extremely important things in life. You have to find something that you're very good at, and you have to use it for the right purposes. I'm just gonna talk about myself, right? I think that cooking is definitely a gift that God gave me. And it's not that I woke up one day and I was like, oh my God, he's a great chef, I'm just gonna pursue it. No. This came with a lot of work, a lot of washing dishes at some point, a lot of peeling of potatoes, like all these things. And you just find it, and then you try to find ways to, use it for good and do good things with it.
Right.
Whether it's giving meals for the homeless, whether it's being there for your people. We're getting paid to be here. I'm working, but being nice to the people that are around you. Just gotta find purpose. Without purpose, I think there is nothing there for you.
And I think people don't find purpose today. Like,
it's a lot harder. Because there's so much out there. There's so much noise out there. The whole social media, the whole comparison, the likes. It's very, very hard and alarming for the younger generation. Now I feel like I'm very old. Thank you, because I'm saying the younger generation, but you know what I mean.
We mean teenagers.
Yes, that's what I mean. They suffer from so much, mental health issues and all that, and it's just hard. I've also had anxiety many times, and I've also suffered from depression. I suffer from all these things that you see, but guess what? I was trying to provide, so I was too busy on my stuff.
Right.
If you get busy, trust me,
busy is good.
I promise you. I said that to one of my guys the other, like 2-3 days ago. If you're working 12-14 hours a day, I promise you, you're not going to have time to think. You're not going to have time to think if I'm depressed or not, bro. You have to go to work. You have to
be busy. I agree.
When we have too much time on our hands, sorry, but there was no depression and mental health issues like 200 years ago. Why? Because you have to be running around, escaping from a war. You understand?
It's true. It's like the more gifts we get as time goes on, because the world becomes more modern, it's like it ends up being to our detriment. Like, it ends up being worse for us because there's so much, and it's just like so much free time, like you said, because everything's easy. You don't have to do the laundry. You don't have to get around, like, with the horse. Like, everything is just so easy. You're
get around with the horse. Did you say get around with the horse? That's awesome. That's brilliant.
No, serious. Like, or whatever they used to use back then. You have to, like, you have you just have time. And then time sometimes is extra time. Too much good free time is not good if you don't know how to handle it properly.
That's correct.
So,
I heard once somebody said that if you feel helpless, you should get helpful. If you help people, if you help others without expecting anything back, it's one of the purest forms of gratitude and love and commitment, and we can use a million words here.
Right, that's what they say. Levaya, like going to a funeral, is the biggest, like highest mitzvah because you can't even get that back. Like that person can never pay you back for that. So
that's
it's
correct.
like,
it's just a wonderful thing, just going out there and try to get helpful. You don't value life because I know plenty of people they're like, what am I here for? I don't have a purpose. I don't have a passion. I don't know what to do.
Sad to me. That really is sad to me. So like, what does that mean? They don't see anything in themselves? Is it coming from lack of confidence? Like, where's this coming from?
I think is that they have a lot of things that in the past we did not have. I didn't have food growing up. I remember having my mom, making us some type of chewy meat, and I'd be like, my brother had a steak or whatever, if we can even call that a steak, right? My brother had one, I had one. Then I look at my mom, and she was eating an apple, and I'm like, Mom, you're not eating steak? She's like, no, what do you mean? I don't like steak. Of course she loves steak. We didn't have enough. You know what I mean? So now we value steak.
Yeah.
A lot of people nowadays, especially in this great, amazing, super awesome country, which is America, which I love, by the way. I love America. We grow up with food in our tables, most times, in a house, in a car. And it's like, oh, maybe I can have the nicer car, but you have a car.
Right.
I know people that walk 20 miles to work every day.
Use a horse.
Yeah, pretty much. If they can even afford it, right? But we grow up here with a lot of things, and this comparison thing is very hard, and people just have a hard time finding passion, and they just feel like there is one more. What am I here for? Am I even special? I'm just one more person. There is a million like me. But truth to be told, there is none. There's only one of you in the entire universe, and you just gotta make it worth. Like all this suffering and all these hard working and all these things that we do, really, like I left my whole family over there. I haven't seen my parents in I don't know how long. My brothers, I missed out on birthdays, on weddings. My grandparents died. I couldn't go see them. Like all these things, and then let's just make this worth it. After so much suffering, like let's go out there and do something that's worth it.
Right. You live once. Like you want. That's 100%. How I always view it. I'm like, you get one life. Like, how do you want to use it?
And that's
how do you want to use your one life?
More.
It's scary. It really is scary.
And I strongly believe that in life, it's not about getting to your goal and achieving it as much as who you become on the way there.
Right.
Because, we don't have guaranteed tomorrow. We might not wake up.
October 7th just proved that, It's like, it really is like, you don't know.
Yeah. Right. And, it's who you become on the way there.
So where did this all like, I feel like you have a very different view because a lot of people I talk to don't say those things that you say. For real. They could be like really smart people and whatever, but they don't feel like every person really counts, whatever. And I hear you talking and I feel like it's really coming from like your heart. So where did this like come from? Like is it like the way your family raised you? It's like, where's this? Because it's also a lot of emunah. You have to believe in Hashem. Hashem brought me to this world for a purpose to say things like that.
I think it's a lot of self-work, right? It's all this internal work from all these years and trying to fix things. I'm very good at finding solutions and I love helping people. So that little balance in between those things, I've been just learning and I've been trying to get better. And even if I have the worst day ever, I'm just waking up with a smile every day. And it might that smile might be forced, A lot of days are not natural. But guess what? When I wake up with a smile, nothing can stop me.
Fake it till you make
Nothing. Yeah, 100%.
I believe in that, by the way.
Yeah,
100%. Believer in that.
100 million%. Yes. Right. Yep. That's what it is. Just gotta stay positive and try to help people and be better every single day.
Right. Right. Push yourself. So, how did your parents react when you said you were like moving to America?
My father told me, "I'll see you in 3 weeks." He didn't believe in me. My mom was kind of sad about it, but I've been always a free bird.
Okay. Since you were young.
Yeah, I've been always a free bird. I've always been, left my house when I was like 13, started living my own life, and
what did you do at 13?
I don't know. I was washing dishes somewhere in Argentina.
But you lived at home, like at 13.
Until 13, yes.
Okay.
Then I went to yeshiva for a little bit, and I just kind of like did my thing. They were always worried at first, but then once they saw that I was making the right decisions, like I didn't end up in drugs, like I didn't do any of this really bad thing.
Be a little bit more.
Just did my thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like since a very young age, probably like 8, 9, I feel like I was already on my own, if that makes any sense. And I was already on my own. Like I was already looking for ways to get out and do my own thing. Like I never really felt like I had a backup for my family or my parents, which I'm sure I did. I just didn't see it like it, and didn't seem like that in the moment. So I always kind of like took the charge, and
you're on
and went on my own, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you keep in touch with your family now?
Yeah.
You talk to them?
Absolutely. I bring my
parents. Come visit?
Yeah. My parents, my brothers in vacation.
Did they come to this restaurant?
Yeah. Yeah. My mom was just here. My brother was just here.
So cute. So nice.
Pretty cool.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So, like, is there somebody that impacted you, would you say, when you were younger? Like, maybe a rabbi, a teacher, or somebody that you feel like in the religious realm, like really made an impact on you?
Absolutely. The Lubavitcher Rebbe. 100%. 100. I still go to the Ohio with all the tattoos and everything. I go to the Ohio. Oh,
tattoos doesn't mean you're not a good Jew. It doesn't mean people judge it like tattoos.
Oh my God, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Can we talk about it? Why?
100%. So, to them, unless I have my star out, I look like a goy. I look like a full-on goy. 100%.
Wait, you have tattoos on this arm and only one arm?
I have a lot. Look, I have all that, and I have.
What do they mean?
Oh, how long do you have? No, it's just
like a little.
Oh, so I got a knife because it's like the most,
Okay.
It's like a super classic. I got the chef over there. I got a ribeye steak.
The Magen David.
Yeah, Magen David. I have
you have another.
I have there. Then I have a very cool one that not too many people know about.
Really? Tell us.
In my leg, I have an OU glad kosher. Yeah, because why not? It's like I just wanted something very cool. It's like, I'm a chef.
Do non-Jewish people ask you, like, what is that?
It's not too visible.
Oh, okay. It's like hidden.
But it's like such a unique tattoo. And it's awesome. And it makes me happy. And it's like, it's okay, girl, I'm kosher,
That's actually funny.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So wait, what's this like? Let's talk about this tattoo stigma for a minute. Like,
okay.
Like, you tell me why you think it's such a stigma, and then I will say like why I think it's a stigma.
I think that there's a couple of things. First of all, it's, I guess, forbidden and against the Torah.
Right.
Okay. I think that, which by the way, it's an avera to get one, not to have one.
Right. A lot of people, when they do tshuva, they're like, there's a question like you need to remove them, so they say you don't have to remove tattoos. Exactly. Right. So avera is only on doing it.
I think that it's a very goyish thing. Yeah, which I know plenty of Jews with tattoos. You just don't see them.
Changed over the years. Yeah. That's the thing.
They said they used to not bury you in a Jewish cemetery unless you had tattoos. False. That's not true.
Are you sure it's not true though?
Yes. It's not true.
So where did this come from?
That was in the past because it was a very like crazy thing, and then unfortunately the only Jews that really had tattoos back then was from the Holocaust.
Right.
Okay, and that was like the only thing that really made me not feel well about it. Like once I don't know where I was at an office, I think at a doctor or something, and I see this old man over there. He's looking at me, like very old man. He tells me, "Hey, you Jewish, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Nice tattoo." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." He's like, "Oh, I have one too." Get one like this. Show me his numbers. He was a Holocaust survivor.
Right.
So, that kind of like was like the only time that I really like felt a little bad about it. But not really, Like I understand it. I understand it, but most Jews than you think have tattoos nowadays.
I know, so that's the thing. I think you're really changed. Not that we're encouraging people to get tattoos, yes, okay? Don't get tattoos. But I think like in the past, like it was very like nobody had tattoos, and today like you see people like keeping Shabbat and having tattoos, and like going to tefillah and having tattoos. So I think like this. I still have that old fashioned stigma on it. Like even me personally, because I wasn't born like 10 years ago. I'm not a teenager, so like I also kind of view it the same way. But yeah, it's different than, let's say, other things for some reason. The way it's like viewed upon. So.
The world changes.
Yeah.
They're still not allowed, but they're a lot more expected.
Right. I like that. I like that you're very realistic. I like that you say like you're honest. You're like 100%. It's not allowed, but it's 100%. Like people right.
Don't follow my steps. Don't do what I do. But I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that 100 years ago, if you showed up like this, your shul, they wouldn't count you from Indiana.
Right. Yeah. Right. Things change. Yeah. Right. It's very important. That's the thing, to be very like realistic about your Judaism and be real about it. Like some people will say, for example, like, I think keeping Shabbat is like, you do it on your own way. Like you could drive on Shabbat, you could whatever. And some people will be like, no, I think it's wrong. I'm just not at that place right now. And I don't know. And the
second one.
Exactly.
Yes. I know it's wrong and I know I shouldn't do it. But to me, again, it's to me. Yeah. Right. My Shabbat is to rest, not work, and have a good time and enjoy with family and friends. That's what it is. And disconnect. Trust me, I do that. Yeah. I do that.
No, but I like that you're saying like there's an objective truth, because some people will be like it's subjective, and it's not. Like
okay, it's been there for 3,000 years, and I strongly believe that, and most people are not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I strongly believe that if Moshe Rabbeinu was here today, looking at us, at the way we keep and we look and we daven and we do all these things, he'll be laughing and be like, how in the world did you get from what we said to what we're doing right now?
Do you think he would have nachat from us, or he would be like,
in the sense of trying hard, 100%, but in the sense of what we're actually practicing and doing, he'd be like, dude, what are you wearing? Like, how did you get from what we said and did to this?
Right.
Everything that we follow nowadays is like it's like interpretations, and then like a million back from one pasuk that was there.
Right.
And these interpretations were done by humans.
But they had the power to give those interpretations. That's how I view it. Like sometimes people were like, oh, rabbis shouldn't, but like Hashem gave koach to rabbis to make changes. Not to every rabbi, but up until a certain generation, they did get power. So don't tell me the Torah changed. It's like they have the power. Now, I can't make those decisions. So you can't come, a random 25-year-old guy, and be like, oh, well, I could also make changes because other human beings made it. Well, they are rabbis. You're not. And they are... they were given the ability, not you.
I get that.
That's how I see it. So it's I don't know. I guess it's important to be real about your Judaism. 100%. That's the most.
You have to be very, very real and very, upfront and be realistic. Be honest with yourself.
Right. Important.
And own it.
Yeah.
Own it. Every single little thing I do, I own it.
Yeah.
I know it's me. It's me, and that's it. I'm responsible for my actions, and that's it.
Yeah. Just, be you and take ownership. And by the way, what I was talking about before, I think a lot of people do it because they can't live with that guilt and that shame of like, I'm doing something wrong. So they take that wrong and say like, really, it's right. Or it's like my right, because it's like, no, but you need to, there's an objective truth. You could say, I'm not there. It's okay. I don't do everything. Nobody does everything. We're not perfect. But you gotta own up to, like, the real, because how could you do some things and some things not, and be like, well, I think this is okay on Shabbat, but this is not. Like, based on what? It's like...
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me a little bit, what are your, like, future plans?
Future plans?
You've been on a few TV shows, right?
Yes. Don't you remember I told you I live one day at a time?
So tell us a little bit about, like, TV shows you've been on, and, like, what are your future plans, or at least what do you see in the next 5-10 years?
I'm not so sure I can talk about it too much. Okay. But as you all know, I just did Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. I was there waving my Jewish star.
Proud of you.
And thank you. I did a couple more shows, which are coming out soon.
Okay, you can't talk about those. Okay,
exactly.
It's fine.
But being, just killing it on social media and trying to do as much as possible, getting into TV a little bit, which has been, a big dream of mine for a while, and just gonna keep living one day at a time and keep giving it all every single day.
Nice.
And that's what it is, and this whole like TV thing and the chef and all that, I don't mean to sound sad, but like they're like crazy accomplishments that I don't know how many people can say that they've achieved that.
No, it's definitely great accomplishments.
They are.
Hands down.
They're great and they're not so great. Because I have like my bucket list since I was like a little child, and I guess I've been adding things this whole time, and I'm like 100% sure that I checked all of those.
That's amazing.
Right? It is and it is not.
Okay, tell me why not.
Because I'm very hard on myself.
You have to be a little bit more easy on yourself. You did so much. You do so much. Like, I really think you're incredible. Like,
thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're too.
We have to be hard on ourselves, but we also have to cut ourselves some slack. Like,
but I can do more.
You could always do more.
And I will.
You will.
And I will.
Right.
Like when I came out of my Hell's Kitchen show, I was like, oh. My mom was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Nothing. I did it. That's it. What's next?"
Right.
Like we have like that. We have that also, that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where we get to the highest possible and we're there and we're like, yeah, of course we enjoy the moment and all that, and we're like, why me?
Yeah, no, I had that also, by the way. Like, I got to certain points in my life sometimes, and then I was like, oh, now I got it. Like, it's not such a big deal, I guess. Like,
what's next?
Right. Right.
That's what it is. That's why it's very hard, to. I don't know if it's like successful the right word, but I guess in my field it is. It's harder. It comes with a certain pressure, and a lot of people they don't try too hard because they're scared of this.
Right, that feeling.
Yeah.
Of like,
how do you manage it?
Right.
What do you do?
So have you ever reached a point where you were like felt very low and you were like, I'm giving up on this, or I'm just like changing, I don't know, paths, or like a point that you remember that was like just like a very low point in your life? Doesn't have to be in the career related.
The career, definitely not. I have my passion very, very strong with me. So at points where I was like, I'm not enjoying this and I'm not liking it and it doesn't feel natural and I'm not enjoying it. I didn't change my career. I did the same thing we spoke about before about the seats. I'm just like, maybe it's time to move on.
Right.
And a lot of people are scared of moving on.
Right.
Staying at the same job, staying at the same office for 30 years with the same company. That might not be it. Is that really an accomplishment? Oh, because you're safe. You're safe.
Right.
I wouldn't be safe.
We don't want to be safe.
We don't want to be safe. No, 100%. We want to, at least me, I just want to cross that river and, with a 50-50 chance that I'm going to die. But guess what?
Yeah.
I'd rather die trying. Not being like, oh, what would it have been if I really crossed it, if I had the guts, and if I, I want to go ahead and get it done and do it.
Yeah, regret is scary. It really is scary. Like that fear of like, I could have done it.
Yeah, the whole what if.
Yeah.
That would suck.
I know.
Imagine if like one day when I had kids and grandchildren and all that, they'll be like, oh yeah, my father or my grandfather, he didn't try.
Right.
He didn't have the guts to go do it, He wasn't a risk taker. People that, really make it in life, they're risk takers.
Right. It's true. And that comes easier. Right. It comes easier to some people than others, but you're right. It does come with consequences. Right.
Like Nike, just do it. While you have prayed, do it. Do it afraid, but do it.
Right. Right. It's more, for me, it's more fearful not to do it. That then I'm not gonna sleep well at night, Obviously with everything with like the right logic, you have to also be realistic, but in general, like you're like, no.
Me, I'm just like, bro, let's go for it. Let's do it.
Right.
I strongly believe if you have faith, you help people, you work hard and stay honest,
right,
good things happen to good people.
It's true. And you have to be very genuine. It's hard to find genuine people today. At least for me, I don't know. It's like
it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
To find genuine people, to find non-genuine people.
It's hard to find really genuine people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And usually the genuine ones are the ones that don't fit in.
Interesting.
The ones that don't fit in are usually the ones left out.
Right. So they end up getting like, punished for being real people. That's what's sad.
Because they think that real is like what everybody else is doing. Right. We're talking about religion before and all that. Most of my very good friends have payas and extremos, right? But when we first met, they gave me like the little side eye, and I don't blame them. And they gave me the little side eye, and then we're talking for like 5-10 minutes, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're actually a good guy." I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean actually? What do you mean actually?" Because it takes a little bit, to break that barrier, and I guess a little confidence and and faith, and that really really helps.
Do you feel like sometimes like you wish do you feel like you fit in some sort of like box, or do you feel like sometimes you wish you could fit in a box?
I always, since I was a little kid, I always felt like I didn't fit in a box, or I didn't fit in with anybody, and I felt very guilty about it, right? I felt very bad. And once I got a little taste of what it feels like to be different and to own it and to use it for your own good, that really changed my life. You have no idea.
You're inspiring me.
That box is been gone a long time ago. In my life, in my day-to-day life, it's like, you want to be in my box? You want to respect me? Then great. And that's it. If you don't like it, go on the highway, go somewhere else, and it's not in an arrogant way.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that I was always left out from that whole big box that everybody has. I don't want to be in your box.
I agree, but the thing is, like we said, the people that are not in the box a lot of times like get left behind in terms of like fitting in terms of the social circles, in terms of like dating, everything, because you're not in this like box. So do you feel like, how could people that want to not be in a box but still want to be able to like move along in those areas, like find themselves, That's where I think the tricky part is.
Nobody ever will come rescue you. Never. You have to get up for yourself, and you have to go do something, see what you're great at, see what you should fix, change, improve, get better, and you go find your ways.
Right.
You go find your ways. Because I rather have two friends that are, they're I have only two friends that are extremely genuine and they're awesome and they're perfect with me, than having 50 people that I can call friends that are maybe not there for me,
Right.
Who's really gonna be at your funeral? I know this is too hard
to think about, but like, yeah.
Think about who's gonna be at your funeral, and then who's gonna take care of your family 2 months after you die.
Right.
It's hard.
Right.
It really is.
So how do you navigate like with all of this? The reason why I said the whole box thing is because I was thinking about like dating and like finding a girl. So how do you navigate that? Because you are very real. So you need a very real girl.
Oh, we're getting into dating.
That's the most important topic.
That's what people want to hear, right? You want to hear about me dating?
No, but I think it's like people like worry about relationships. Like people want to know, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way, that they're very genuine, they're real, and they're like, I'm just being me. But sometimes to date in our world, you just need to kind of say, okay, I'm either A, or I'm either B, or I'm either C. But when I'm a little bit of A, B, and C, like, then who do I date? Do I date A, B, or C? Because it's hard to find somebody that encompasses all. There are people out there, but it's just harder. That's just the reality. So what are your thoughts?
Where do I start? I am probably not the best example for dating. Okay, like
why, are you a player?
No, a little bit. It's very hard for me.
Okay.
Because I work too much, which I love, and I don't plan on stopping, which makes it even harder. I just can't have the 9 to 5, the little fence with the dogs and the kids and the pool on a Sunday, because I'm not gonna be there Sunday. I'm not gonna be there on your birthday. I'm not gonna be there anniversaries.
That's hard to hear for a woman or for a girl.
It really is, 100%. But I feel like I bring a lot of other things to the table, right? And there is good things and there is bad things, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, because this is what fits me. This is what keeps me happy. This is what keeps me with a smile every day.
It's really your passion. Like, you're really
100%. And I strongly believe that Coach Borjo's going to send somebody my way. When that happens, great, awesome. Until then, I'm just living my life.
I like that. I like that
That's
approach.
what it is.
So you're not like actively trying to like, you know, you're just kind of...
In between you and I know we're on camera, but in between you and I, when I meet a girl that tells me that her goal is to get married, that's just, it throws me off. It throws me off. I can't do it. Because it's like, 1 second. So your goal is to get married, and that's it. That's really like, that's your goal in life, is to get married, to have a husband. Like, what's, what is this about?
Right.
Don't you want to find somebody that loves you so much that therefore wants to marry you and spend the rest of their lives with you? Like, don't you have like bigger ambitions in life?
So why do you think people say that that's their goal automatically? You think it's because they really want to, or just because like that's kind of the expectation? Like, oh, you come back from seminar, you come back from yeshiva, you get married, and whatever. Like, where?
I think it depends on the family, it depends on the person and all that. But this whole comparison that we've been talking about, the whole social media, the whole posting, I said yes, and they show you the ring like this,
Right.
and I'm going here for a honeymoon, and my husband and my wife and all that.
Yeah.
That's all.
I know.
It's all, and people are very scared of the time.
Yeah.
They're terrified.
Right.
Unfortunately, I know girls that are like 25, 27, 28, 29, and they're like, I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to get married. It's going to be too late to have kids. And like, you can't really control those things. Why don't you just do your part and hope that happens?
But I think the gray area is what is doing your part. Like,
what is doing your part?
Because that's again, like, where do you say, okay, Hashem, it's up to you? And where do you say, like, I'm pushing myself, I'm doing my ishtadlut? Like, that's, I think, what a lot of people
put yourself
with.
Out there.
Yeah.
Look for the right things in the right places. And as a man, I think, I'm going to speak for myself. I don't know about most men, but probably a lot of my friends think alike. We want somebody that is secure. I know we all have like insecurities and all that, but we want independent people, we want independent people that really have their things. I don't see why a good-looking independent girl that works and has a career and all that wouldn't find somebody. I just don't I don't understand how.
But realistically, that's the reality for a lot of girls. So, and I'm assuming also for a lot of guys. I'm not just saying only for girls.
Probably.
But,
I'm not so sure. Like, I can give you advice on how to take a girl out on a date. That I can tell you.
I think really comes down to that. Like, it's just Hashem it's just not the right time. Hashem is just not the right time, and that's okay. Because, like, like you said, sometimes you girls that are ambitious and confident and pretty and nice, and it's like she's the full package, or even the guy, and it's like, why is she single? But it's just like,
when you find one like that, you send me her number.
I'll pass it on.
When I was 21 and religious with the black hat and a beard, I got married.
You got married?
I got married, yeah.
You were married?
Yeah, I got married. I was 21. Yeah, crazy.
This is like shocking.
Crazy, right? My wife had a wig and the whole thing. Yes.
So you were married?
I was married, yeah.
Do you have kids?
I don't have kids. Okay. I have a beautiful dog. His name is Simon, and he's literally
your kid.
My son.
I see him on Instagram.
He is perfect in every way, and he was sent by God to just be my companion and be there with me my whole life.
I'm happy he's there for
7 years, 7+ years.
Nice.
And he's the most beautiful. Like, I look forward to coming home tonight and just seeing his face.
That's really nice. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, let's go back to that for a minute. You just said that, and you can't expect me to like ignore that.
Drop the bomb, right?
I know. Wait, so how long were you married for?
I was married for a year.
Okay.
Shona.
Where were you living?
I was in Miami.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was in Miami.
And then you got divorced.
Then I got divorced.
Okay. Did it not work out? Like, what was the...
I mean, that was... It wasn't the right time. I wasn't ready for it. And I just think I married the wrong person.
Did you love her when you married her?
Oh. I hope she's not watching this.
She probably wouldn't watch it.
I think that I love the idea of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So... Like she had a certain, like, whatever she was portraying or look or whatever that you liked, like the idea of being with somebody like her.
Maybe. I think I was bored.
But you were able to make that big of a decision because you were that's
I'm a
significant.
Risk-taker. I'm a risk-taker. I'm a risk taker.
Because I just asked you like if you loved her and you didn't say yes. That means like you married a girl that you didn't love. So do you think a lot of people do that? Because that's like a scary thing.
What's love? Define love for me, please.
I know that's a good question. I think love is genuine care. Genuine care. Appreciation for the person, respect, like being excited to be with that person every day. That's what I see as love.
So right behind that wall, I have about 10 people. I love my grill guy. I love my salad guy. I love my soup.
But it's not the same as a girl.
Why not? They come to my house. I take care of them. They take care of me. Why? We spend time together. I see them 12, 14 hours every single day.
Right, but hopefully when you have a girlfriend or a wife, you're going to love her more than that, or it's going to be a different type of love, you know?
Yes and not.
So what changed between that and a year later? That's like, because love also builds. So if there's like, I guess the right things in place, like it could become greater love. So because
this is like therapy. What am I doing?
We want people to not make like, not that it was a mistake.
Oh, it was.
You probably learned.
I don't regret it.
I
don't regret it.
Okay.
I mean, it shouldn't have happened.
Okay, so how do we like? Because I happen to be like I've recently spoken to a lot of people that are pretty young, and they're like, oh yeah, like I got divorced, and I'm like, I would have never even like been able to tell by looking at you, and the question is like, how do we really try to get people to avoid doing that? Because we don't want people to get into relationships that are going to end up in divorce. Like, what's going on?
I think that
what's happening.
My mentality back then, and a lot of people's mentality nowadays, is that they're not complete until they have that other half. I think that is not true at all. I think that if you go in with that mentality, you're either going to end up getting divorced or you're going to have a very, very hard time. If you have kids, you're going to be like, it's too late to get out of here. Right? We need to be full and complete and happy with ourselves. Nobody's going to come rescue you. Not because you're going to get somebody that's going to come in and tell you that he or she loves you so freaking much and you're going to have like the beautiful honeymoon and
the ring.
That's not true. None of that is true.
Right.
You know, I personally know a lot of married people with kids, and they tell me like, hey, listen, like, if we didn't have the kids, we wouldn't be together right now.
That is sad to me. Who wants to be in that type of relationship?
That's most marriages I know.
That makes me like sad. Like that
should scare
sad and scared both. Is that the life you want to live in?
And then I'm like, 1 second, like, am I really doing this? You know, like, am I really gonna go? Don't get me wrong, I wanna get married and have kids no matter what. You know, but I'm like, wow, like really again? Like I'm sorry, but I get PTSD. You know, I remember those nights where I just was extremely unhappy, and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? How do I, you know, how do I get out of this? And now it's like, once like you're getting divorced, it's like you have a black stamp on your passport. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like the first time, it's okay. Maybe it didn't work out. What if it happens the second
time?
No,
then it's already on you. You're the problem.
And I'm definitely the problem. I'm absolutely 100% the problem. I am the problem. You know?
At least you're being very realistic, and your self-awareness is important.
And I'm pretty sure that if I give it 100%, I would have, you know, I would probably still be married now and have a family and maybe made it work out.
Right.
That just wasn't for me.
Right.
Not the marriage itself.
Right.
You know, just like that specific situation, you know?
Wow. How long did you date for?
I was religious.
3 weeks?
Nah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a few months.
Okay. Not.
You're never fully meeting somebody ever, even if you're married for 50 years.
Oh yeah, right.
Maybe a little more time. Maybe, you know, not a shadchan involved. You know.
Do you think that kind of ruined it a little bit? No, so that wasn't
so fun. Actually,
yeah, you're like, yeah, you don't seem the good type. Yeah,
100%, and you know, a lot of things happen. And it was hard. And
also, that's young. 21 is young.
I was very young.
That's very young.
I was extremely young. Very.
Right.
Very, very. I'm still young. What do you mean?
No, you know what I mean.
Young.
But 21 is not 29.
It's a fake beard. Tattoos are like, you know, pillows.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like 21, like that's you can't make yeah.
Very.
Right. Right. Okay, so you learned from it and you know what to like
so much better.
Right. You just needed to do more. Like that's I really feel like sometimes people that are get married a little later, it's because Hashem really feels like for them, like you just need to do a little bit more and accomplish more. Because if you were married right now, you probably wouldn't be able to do some of the things. And for you, it's important to do those things before. Absolutely. That's how I see it.
The other person that's there for you or that it's meant for you is not ready.
Right. 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 And we're not bashing people that are getting married at like 20, 21 or 19. That
get married.
That's probably good for you. But if you're not married at an older age or whatever age it is, then it just means that probably the time for you hasn't come. Doesn't mean you don't want to, doesn't mean no, just like probably your time hasn't arrived yet. And Hashem knows what he's doing. That's like, you know.
Things are meant to work out, like I said.
That's true.
Good things happen to good people.
Right. Yeah. We just panic sometimes, you know, we're like we're human beings. That's like the natural, you know, like instinct. Sometimes think about, you know.
You should feel scared.
Right.
On everything.
Yeah.
I'm scared every single day. You know, I know I look like I have my stuff. I got my stuff together.
The tattoos.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Like even as a chef, like people are like, oh, he's got it all figured out. Dude, no, I don't.
Day by day.
Every single day. I fear that everything's gonna get caught on fire.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be ready with my prep on time, and my meat is not gonna show up, and my electricity is gonna go off, and like all these crazy things.
Right.
That's why I do it. You know?
Yeah.
Afraid?
Yeah.
Do it afraid.
Right. Yeah. I like that. Wow. This was inspirational. Yeah, you really inspired me. No, for real. Like, I like the fact that you're so genuine. Really. Like, when I say, like, it's hard to come across people that are very real, it really, really is. And people that just speak from their heart and then own up to who they are and they're not being fake, you know, it's like.
And you don't know anything we just spoke about. You had no idea about it, right?
No.
Because I decide what I put out.
Right.
Social media.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the comparison there is out there where.
Right.
I don't post pictures when I'm crying. I don't cry. I'm a man. I don't cry. No, I don't post pictures when I'm sad. You know,
right.
I'll probably post pictures when I'm sad of me smiling.
But it's almost like impossible to think of you sad. I feel like you're such a like happy person, but everybody has their moments. It's not like
take it until make it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Exactly.
Living one day at a time and trying to keep it up and trying to smile. And you know, if you get up in the morning and you're like, oh, one more day. Let's see how it's gonna be today. You know, and the first bad thing that happens to you, get out of your house and there's a flat tire. You'll be like, oh, of course it's a bad day. Of course I gotta freak.
No, you can't do that. You know? Right.
And then after something else, and then something else. Yeah, today it's just it's 3 p.m. and you're like, oh, I gave up already. Or you wake up and you're like, today's gonna be a freaking awesome day.
Yeah, it's all mindset. Mindset.
You get a flat tire, be like, listen. Capara, right? something bad. It's a good day. It's the best day ever. You know,
right.
One bad thing has to happen. Okay, so let it be the flat tire, and then after that, something. Oh, it's okay. You know, just, you know.
And putting things in perspective, like so many exactly, and also so many people are going through like real hardships that sometimes we have to put our flat tires a little bit in. You know, like stop complaining about these small things.
You cut yourself, whatever.
Yeah,
people that are actually suffering. You know, they're really, really like. They're actually suffering. Somebody didn't wake up today.
Right.
You know, somebody lost a child. Somebody lost their love of life. You know,
right.
Somebody, you know, was diagnosed with something bad. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go. I mean, I know it sounds a little creepy too, but like, you know, take a little walk. It doesn't have to be at night, but take a little walk or drive by a cemetery. Look at the dates on the graves. You know, how many dreams were not accomplished?
A lot, probably.
You know. How many ideas were not brought to reality? How many books were meant to be written and they weren't because they weren't perfect?
Right.
You know, people always wait until, you know, let me wait until I have everything figured out and everything perfect. How about you just put it out there?
Exactly. Just do. Just do.
What's going to happen?
Nothing.
That's where the whole thing of, you know, having a little confidence, believing in yourself and, you know, just keep grinding, keep hustling and you know,
right.
Keep it up every day.
And being the best version of who you could be. Really. Very important. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I learned so much from you. And I gave you a therapy session. Yes.
I'm insurance.
So let's wrap it up with fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
Sure, Lambo. Okay.
And yeah, push yourself. Don't give up. And I had an incredible time learning about your story, especially because I didn't know like you came from like, you know, you accomplished all this like yourself, and it's like no, and that you said like you didn't have too much growing up. Like I didn't know all of that. That's not the impression you get when you see you. So that's like compliment to you that you made it thus far that nobody could even see that. And yeah, so thanks so much for joining us. See you next episode. Thank you.